Okay, trying to turn on my camera. All right, so hold on. Let's just turn off the lights. Shit, fuck. Oh, this is actually stupid. Let's turn it off and just chill like this. All right, so this is my first stream. I just wanted to get on here and just talk about my music. So yeah, I'm just trying to find a way to turn off my camera because there's no point right now. So let me just start by saying that this is my first stream, and yeah, I don't really have much to say, so I'm just gonna get right into my thing. So yeah, so I record my music on BandLab, and the mic I use is pretty much it's just my phone, and I go on an app called Veloco, which is basically my auto-tune plugin. I would use the BandLab one, but it just doesn't. I just don't like the way it sounds, and I'm not like really paying for like memberships on things. Like I could buy a BandLab membership, but I just don't feel like I need to yet. Same thing with Veloco. I think once I maybe get a little more traction and I'm starting to actually, I guess, get more attention from my music, I might start investing a little more into it. But currently, I just use my phone to record my vocals, and then I just import it into my track. So like, I'll just show you. For today, I'll just be showing my song that I put out first, which was AAA. So let me just go to that. So yeah, reason for doing this is that I've been making music for a little over 3 years now, and I've been on BandLab for over 2 years now. So I think I've used it enough to be able to give some tips and tricks for anyone who cares, really. Like, I'm gonna chop this video up and put it out. So basically, the way I do this is, so first I lay out the track. This track is I just like this beat. This is a Gunna Don Toliver type beat. So what you can do is you can come over here and you can either mute it, which will just, you won't play that singular track, or you can single it out and it'll only play that track. So it'll only, and this is all basic stuff, by the way. And then these are all my vocals here. So yeah, so basically it's just like how you would do any song. You would pick a flow and then you would try to see if it works, and once you have something that you think is going to be good, then that's when you hit record and you try to make it into a song. So basically what I'm just trying to show you guys here is how to actually use BandLab and make it so that way you're not like sort of fighting the DAW and making it like, all right, how do I do this? How do I do that? This isn't working. My song's not going to work. And ultimately, you don't want it to be that you can't make what you want because you don't know how to work your DAW. So I started with BandLab, but I wanted to move over to like Pro Tools. I checked out FL Studio before it costed money, and thought I could just get it for free. So it was just so complicated. So I just stuck to BandLab, and and it's really been working for me so far. My main concern was my vocals, and here you can see here the way I do it is I layer my vocals. So I'm sure on like Pro Tools and FL Studio you may not have to layer it as much, and depending on what mic you're using and how loud it is, it'll already sound like a finished product before even mixing or mastering. So let me just show you like the basics around here. As I said before, you have the mute button and your single out button, and then you have this little thing here to drag, and that drags the volume around and stuff. So there's like so many things you can do. There's automation. You can like stop and go. You can make it like when the beat drops, everything else goes silent. So like the amount of creativity is just endless. But for this particular song, it was just it was just simply like letting the beat go. And yeah, so let's just start with the vocals. So basically here I have a preset. Now I used to make my own presets back in like 2022 and 2023, but compared to how I sound now, I just prefer to use the custom presets that are already made by BandLab or the other users that are put in, and then I like to use that as like a foundation. Then I add my own effects depending on what I like, and everything I do is based off of ear. It's just whatever sounds good to me. There is like ways you could do it that are more like traditional and give you like a certain sound, but I just prefer to do it like this because that's how I can learn. So yeah, we have a standard studio vocal chain that's just been edited slightly. So if you go to vocals, you have all your different sounds. I usually tend to either do studio vocals or 70s ballad depending on how it sounds. So for this one, I just stuck with the studio vocals. So I will come here, just click studio vocals. It's asking if I want to save my unsaved effects. This is only because I just took away the reverb of it initially, and I didn't add it back. So I'm just going to say, no, I don't want to save it. And now it'll come up like this. So what you could do is you could learn beforehand, like what each thing does. I didn't really do that. I kind of just move shit around and try to figure it out. And eventually I just watched videos and it kind of made sense. So basically for this song, I just thought it was best that I didn't need the reverb because this is how it sounds with the reverb. Go to bed early, I wake up for guap. She keeping me clean just in case I get hot. Just coggle the button, just push it to start. So yeah, you can hear that like when I take it off, it sounds more clear. But with the reverb, it's just the echo. It's like too much. And I could like go down, take it down a bit, and it would help. But for this particular song, I just didn't feel that that was necessary. And then on top of that, I just really did it by ear. There's not much to explain there. So let me just show you how it sounds. Like everything sounds completely raw. So if I come here, click this, and I just do this, it gets rid of all the effects for each vocal track. And another technique I like to use is the gain reduction. So you could do gain reduction as an actual plugin, or you could just go down to your editor and you can use the gain here. You got like pitch shift, which I rarely use, but it does come in handy depending on what type of sound you're trying to achieve. So if you just highlight whatever it is, see here, I already have it at 17.6, but if you bring it all the way up, this is how it sounds like normal. Like just raw as soon as you put it into the DAW. If you just single this out, hold on, yep. Rising top, yeah, it goes a lot. She high fall, she on never rise. Go to bed early, I wake up for guap. She keeping it clean just in case I get hot. Just coggle the button, just push it to start. High fashion leather got stuck in my socks. We in sky and me surrounded by thoughts. She go on her knees when I'm praying to God. Yeah, so you can hear that it's really as of right now as a singular track, it's pretty clear. It's like a normal sounding thing, and then as soon as it transitions over to the next like set of vocals, it just gets really quiet. That's because if I set it together with the vocal or with the instrumental, This is how it sounds. So yeah, this sounds normal, right? But when I was working on it, I wanted it to be I wanted to sound slightly more layered and louder, which is why you see all these additional layers here. And then when I did that though, I needed to reduce the gain down immensely so that way it wasn't just blaring over the instrumental and just destroying the listener's ears. So it really depends on the song. This it sounds fine like this, but there's multiple songs I've made where it doesn't sound like this good already. This song happened to be sounding good as soon as I put on my vocals without putting any band lab effects, and that's partly the reason why I was so comfortable releasing it as my first single that I wanted everyone to know about. So as an artist, it really just depends on what type of sound you're trying to achieve and what what you really like. I personally make music that I enjoy myself. I don't really try to make something that that is that like I don't think I can make or for other people. Like if other people enjoy it, that's great, but I first need to like it before I can confidently say, "Oh yeah, I can put this out there and be okay." Because the last thing I want is for someone to like show me my song and I'm thinking like, why did I put this out? And I can see like they're just like making fun of me for it, yada yada yada. So all I'm really saying is just if you're gonna make music, just make sure you're like proud of it and just be honest with yourself. If it's not working, don't put it out. Try to figure stuff out. I personally have made so many songs that I've started and just quit, and I have like stuff that I'm working on right now. But just for this stream, I just wanted to talk about uh, this song particularly. I also for the stream I might also go over a song I just put out. We'll just once I'm done with this, we'll probably go to that. But another thing I wanted to talk about was the use of like effects. So if you can see here in this little green thing, these little green vocals, I used like a little like low pass effect so it kind of simulates that. And then it goes into the main vocals. So the reason why I did this is because I listen to a lot of rap music and I take inspiration from artists like Lil Baby, Gunna, Travis, Dirk. A lot of people do this type of thing where I just liked the way the low pass filter sounds, and like it's like a good like introduction to my vocals. It's like a good like thing that transitions into the main song. So that's why I do it. And in BandLab, the way that I achieve this type of sound is by simply adding a PL driver. I'm not sure if this is actually what a low pass filter is, but what I do know is that it sounds kind of like it. And the thing to notice is that when you do use it, you have to keep it on zero for it to sound like that. Because as soon as you try to raise it, now it becomes like extremely distorted. So when you try to increase the drive, then it just turns into like a distorted signal, and that's not what I'm trying to achieve. And another thing you can do is increase the audio. You can increase the tone, and I tend to not really play with that. And again, it depends on the song. When I at the time when I made this, I was still like not accustomed to actually turning the knobs on the plugins. I kind of just put the plugins in and see how it sounded, and if it didn't sound great, I would just take them off. Now I kind of try to adjust the knobs on the plugins as like an extra step because it's just as an artist, you're always learning, or as a mixing engineer, which is basically what I'm doing here, you're always learning what new things can do. You're learning like new tricks and stuff like that. So again, it just depends on the sound you're trying to achieve. I had reverb here as an echo because I like the way it sounds. And for EQ, same thing. I don't really mess with the knobs on the EQ very much because I just set it to how it is here. And then yeah, the DG compressor, which is pretty standard. I've had a couple songs where I use the what's it called, the TE, the yeah Tech Lab BA2A. That's a really good compressor for making your vocals like quieter, but then not as gritty. So when you like layer them and then add like like a bit crusher, which I'll explain in a moment, that like really makes it loud and the auto, and then that's another thing, like the auto tune sometimes, depending on how you structure your vocal chain and your plugins, your auto tune can be, it can be aggressively brought out, which just ruins your voice. And if you are using your plugins properly, you can actually smooth it out, which is what I try to achieve. So if you put like a bit crusher, it makes it louder, but you also have to keep it on zero. So let me just show you here. So actually, I won't do it on this. I'll do it on a main vocal so you can actually hear. So let's just single this back out again, put in a bit crusher. So yeah, here
Yeah. Look, life and
you'll see how it's like really
if I
distorted,
used to only wear
but
rocks,
as soon as
go
you
to
do it
bed
now,
early, I wake
it
up
gets
for
louder.
God. She
So
keeping it clean just
turn it
in
off.
case I get hot. This car got a button, just push it to start. I fashion leather, got stuck in my socks. We in Sky, me surrounded by
But yeah,
thoughts.
there's
She
a
go
slight
underneath when I'm
difference
praying
if
to.
you can hear it. And that's another thing. You really have to be in tune with your ears. You have to trust your ears. You have to really listen for different sounds. Like when I listen back to my music, there are so many things that I do not notice that I definitely noticed when I was making it. And that's just, those little things are just what make the song sound better than what it would normally be if you were just like pressing buttons, putting stuff in, and then just leaving it. So my biggest challenge doing it this way is really getting my vocals on beat. Like normally how you're supposed to do this is you're supposed to just press this record button and just record right into it, which makes it a lot easier. But again, I don't like the BandLab auto pitch. It just doesn't sound good on me, and the audio is just muffled sometimes. So again, I'm trying to make music that is actually good and something I would listen to, and I don't want to like make music that's just sounds like, frankly, like all a bunch of other SoundCloud rappers. So I'm not saying that like I'm better than that. I'm just saying that if I'm gonna make music, I just want it to sound like how I would, like how like artists I listen to sound, and this is so far the best way I can achieve that. Hopefully in the future I can maybe get better equipment or get like working with real audio engineers in studios where I don't have to worry about doing this stuff myself. But at the end of the day, it's still knowledge, and if you're interested in music, you won't mind learning it. So yeah, that's really it for this. In future videos, I'll talk about like how I make lyrics and stuff. But right now, I just wanted to talk about the like basics of BandLab and how to work it. I'll move over to the song that I just put out recently. Um, just check out. Um, yeah, okay. Just reading comments right now. All right. So this is the song I just finished. On my page, the release date's like first week of February, but that's just because that's when it was supposed to be put out. So I'll just let this song play out for a bit, and then I'll talk about how I did it.
Yeah, one look in the eyes met. 2 days later, now you're in my bed. Your friends ask you who I am. Now I wonder what you really said. Take your time, but you take it slow. Applying pressure, I don't like stress. Tell your friends I ain't nobody, cause I don't care. I just want your body numb, numb. I love the way you make me numb, numb, numb. I need you, girl, I need your love, love, love. I always knew that you the one, the one. Keep coming back, I'm never done, done, done. I love the way you make me numb, numb, numb. I need you, girl, I need your love, love, love. I always knew that you the one, the one. Keep coming back, I'm never done.
So yeah, if you ask me how I'm feeling about the song as of right now, I've listened to it so many times that at this point, if I'm being honest, I don't really like it that much. But I still think it's something that's worth putting out. But I wanted to go over this because I think this is my best showing currently of using like a little more advanced features in Bedlam, like automation or like gain reduction, which I already talked about, and I don't know if that's that advanced. But another advanced thing is using the automation like for the plugin separately and not just like for one thing. Like for example, the automation for the instrumental is just on volume, so I just automated like when the volume would like decrease or increase. But where it gets a little more complicated is where I automated like studio reverb, and I automated like I would automate like delay and stuff like that, like you can see here. And like all these things you don't really pick up when you're listening to the song, because as a listener you don't care, you just want vibes, right? So I just think it's interesting how professionals in the music industry are able to like work through such complex techniques and deliver a sound that is just so like good, and it's just become the expectation that everyone just disregards the work that's put behind it from both the artist and the mixing engineer. So let's just go over how to use the automation. So all you really have to do is just click this, then it brings up everything that you have the opportunity, like you have the like I don't know what's called, like decision, I would say, to automate. So for me, I want to automate the volume on the instrumental. So the way you do that is you select volume, which is already selected. Then you see this line here. Then you can raise it like up or down. I thought that 3 decibels around there was the best, so that's where it was. Like here it was 3.7. And then as I got up to the instrumental where it just goes like dum da dum da da dum, then I raised it because my vocals were no longer being said. So I just decided that I wanted the instrumental to raise up, and you could hear the dum 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 vocals, which I really like. And then once I get back to my vocals, then I kind of decrease it a bit, and then it decreases again once I get back into my verses.
Hey, are you okay? Everybody running, trying to tell me something that I don't really want to do.
So yeah, and another thing is again, I just do it based off of vibes, and for this song, I thought that a little like sound effect of like a voice message would just sounded good. And if you're like listening to my lyrics, it's like.
Hey, in case nobody's asked you this today, are you okay? Everybody running, trying to tell me something that I don't really want to do. I don't want to talk about my feelings because I know you gon' make them choose.
So yeah, it's basically just me talking about like how like I don't want to talk about my feelings, I don't want to do this, I don't want to talk to you, I don't want to express this, blah 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 blah. And then the voicemail is like, "Are you okay?" So like I just thought that that fit well with the theme. And again, I'll talk about how I make my lyrics later. So like for this song, I just thought this was good. And again, like the way I choose lyrics, it's all like not true. It's just whatever feels good in the moment. So moving on to like things uh like ad libs or echo effects. So for this song, because it was more of like a dance theme, I listened to dance, and what I noticed in a lot of the music I listen to for this genre is there's lots of reverb, there's lots of echoing, there's lots of effects going on, there's lots of different things you can hear in the background behind the main vocals or behind the main instruments or vocal chops. And I wanted to implement that into my own music. So here you can hear. Let's just get rid of this automation real quick. You can hear this. So yeah, that's just a little echo thing that pairs with the main vocal. So let me just come here. I should the wrong button. Single it out.
I love the way you make me numb, 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 numb. I need you, girl, I need your love, 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 love. I always knew that you the one, the one.
Let's play without it.
The one. Keep coming back, I'm never done. I love the way you make me numb.
So
I
yeah,
need
you
you,
you
girl,
get
I
the
need you.
idea. So like the way it works was I just repeated the chorus twice, and for the first chorus it was just the vocals, like just these four layers, and then uh well, five layers, and then for the second chorus, that's when I had the echoes layered in. And another thing that I also want to make sure that you guys know is the fade in and fade out effect. That's like a very that's I think that's put on like every single vocal track you will do. It's very rarely you don't do it. This is basically just to lead the vocal in, and it gets rid of like that first like like first little noise, because a lot of times when you record there's static, there's like little distortion that just comes from the equipment or your surrounding area. I personally don't have a treated room. That's something you should definitely be working in. The way I do it, I just record my vocals in like a treated setting, and since I'm on my iPhone, it's already pretty good microphone in itself. So yeah, that's just that. And here we have the little, and I noticed that's in a lot of dance tracks too, where when the instrumental is playing, you have that little vocals that's fading and fading out and echoing. So that's what I wanted to do for this song too, and that's automated. The reverb is automated. Let's see what else is auto. Yeah, the reverb is automated. The size of the reverb is automated, and that's really it. I just automated that because I didn't like how you could still hear the reverb at the end of every single like individual track. I wanted that to be gone, and I come again like as soon as I start, but be gone right wasn't when I ended. So that's why I had to manipulate it like that. And yeah, I really just continued that. Another thing that I'm working on is ad libs. That's honestly a challenging thing for me, getting ad libs that sound coherent and actually work with the vocals. So if you listen here,
Every time I just need to heal. Soon enough, I'll be coming through. They gon' think what they wanna think, but I don't care, just me and you. I
yeah,
love the
even though it's like really tiny and it's minuscule things like this, uh, I just like it when I do that because it just sounds more like a real song. And I'm trying to, my goal is to make music that sounds like it belongs in like a playlist of actual like artists that you enjoy. Like for me, it would be Lil Baby, Boogie, Lil Durk, like song like artists you would take seriously for their music. So this was like the full take. I didn't like these vocals.
what you wanna do. I don't wanna talk about my feelings because I know you gon' make it truth. Every
Yeah, you
time
hear
I just
that?
need to
Like,
heal. Soon
oh
enough,
yeah,
I'll be
tenor
coming.
part's good. So yeah, that's why I just chopped them out, left it like that. So hopefully I've been explaining this well enough. I know I haven't talked about like how you can do simple things like take vocals like this, and then like you can like right click and then you can like slice vocals, and then you can delete what you don't want. If you don't want that, delete it. If you don't want this, you could delete it. You can undo, and you can like shave in, shave out, and then the effects is like this. That just uh it fades it in, and then if you go like this, it'll fade it out. So those really come in handy when you are editing your vocals. And the bottom line is just have an idea of what you want to do before you start working in any DAW you're using, because a lot of times when you make music, it's purely creative, and once you get good at it, then it kind of becomes formula based. But by the time you're thinking like that, you already know what you're doing. So when you're making music, just like just follow whatever you think is right. You can always go back and edit. You can really spend as much time as you want on it, like work on it, save it, come back the next day. It'll probably sound like shit. That happens a lot to me. You can try to fix it. If you can't fix it, you move on to a new idea. That's just how it works, and then eventually you make something you really like, and then you want to share it. So yeah, just have fun with it, and do whatever your heart desires. So I'm gonna exit this, go out. So yeah, I think that will be it for the stream. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll definitely be doing more in the future. Thank you.